Well, howdy. Tommy with AldermanFarms here, and I'm headed to go check on Epstein already. I just can't stand to be away from Epstein. No, actually, if you watch the video I put up yesterday, I spent my lunch hour hanging Epstein in a tree at my friend Greg's house, and he's actually got 3 colonies of bees that have taken up residence in between his first and second story on 3 sides of his house. Probably gonna pick one up on the 4th side, and then they'll have him surrounded. Anywho, those 3 colonies have already produced had already produced 2 swarms in the last 3 days. One of them went to a crepe myrtle tree, and Greg was trying to get in touch with me, and a fellow from Boca Chica found out about it, and he went and got them. Good for him. I'm not upset about that. I'm just glad the bees were recovered. And then the next day, another swarm showed up in the oak tree right by the corner of his house, and he didn't see it till late in the evening. And next morning, when he headed out to work, they were gone. So I went and hung Epstein in that tree. Epstein is my swarm trap that doesn't hang itself. I went and hung up Epstein yesterday at lunch in that tree where the last swarm had been seen. And I was very encouraged because when I got there yesterday, right about shortly after noon on my lunch break, there were still quite a few bees buzzing around up in the limbs of that tree. So anyway, Greg hollered at me this morning and said, "Hey, bro," he said, "you got a few bees hanging around your box." He said, "But I got another swarm." That's 3 swarms in either 3 days or 4 days. So I'm assuming it's the 3rd one of those colonies. It could be from one of the other ones, because I've read, look, y'all know me, I'm not a bee expert, but I've read that one colony can cast a couple of swarms in succession like that. I don't remember the time frame, so how soon after a first swarm a second swarm can happen. So I may be wrong about that, but I'm not sure. So don't correct me in the comments, let me know, but don't be ugly. So anyway, it's either the 3rd of those 3 colonies or the second swarm off of one of the ones that already swarmed. So I'm headed back out there on my lunch break today, and I don't need to eat anyway, right? I'm trying to lose weight and get healthy. No, I did. I ate a healthy sandwich on some of Mama's sourdough bread, some of Miss Patty's sourdough bread, fresh bread. Anyway, I'm headed back out there. I had asked Greg if he wanted to take the box down, if he wanted to take Epstein down to save time, because it's about 16 minute drive. And he said, well, it's got bees in it or on it. And I said, okay, well, leave it there. So here's what I'm hoping for. And I could be totally out of whack and no chance of this happening at all. But what I'm hoping for is to, here's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that the bees on it. Here's what I'm hoping. I don't want to assume anything. Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the bees that are on Epstein, on the swarm trap, and that are going inside are scouts from the swarm that's in the crepe myrtle tree that's about 100 yards away, if I remember correctly, 100-150 from Epstein. And if that's the case, what I'm hoping for is that since they're close enough, that the scouts will be reporting back to the cluster, and there'll be a consensus formed among the scouts that, hey, we don't have to look very far, we got a place right here, and that I'll get to actually capture on video the swarm taking residence in Epstein. Again, I'm not an expert, so I could be wrong about this, but I'm hoping one thing in our favor that might speed up the bees' decision-making process is that it is overcast and occasionally sprinkling rain. So I'm hoping, have no idea whether it will or not, but or whether this is even possible, but I'm hoping that the threat of inclement weather is something they factor in and make them choose a secure, dry location quicker than maybe if they had the leisure of a perfectly sunny day. So anyway, my goodness, I've talked 5 minutes. I didn't plan on doing that. I'm planning on telling you I'm going to see Epstein because I miss him so much. And check on a cluster of bees, a bee swarm, and I'll let you know what I find out when I get over to Greg's house here in a few minutes. Goodbye. Not goodbye, but see you later in a few minutes. But you won't feel it because it'll be like the very next clip, like so instantaneous. Well, there's Epstein hanging in the tree, and there is quite a bit of bee activity. That's the second bee I've seen going in. If you'll notice the secondary hole in the box, which is right up here, looks just like this one, it's right up here. I've got it closed so that it's simply a vent. They can't go in there. And when I walked up here, there was 4 or 5 bees feverishly trying to go in through them vent holes. And I wondered if I maybe should have faced it that direction. It's right now facing more or less south. There goes another one. So I haven't gone to see the cluster yet. I'm gonna head that way here shortly. You can see there's a bee up there right now checking out that vent. So I'm assuming that's a new arrival and that bee will eventually find the opening. So I'm gonna leave Epstein sitting there right now, and we'll watch and see what happens. If I have enough time on my lunch break, I'd love to sit here and find one of those bees leaving and see which direction they go, if they're going back toward where the cluster is. But right now, let's go check on the cluster. And there she blows. There's the cluster. The queen is up in there somewhere. This is the first time I've ever seen a cluster in person, so I don't know how big that is. I can't guesstimate weight or size or whatever. Now, Greg's dad, who met me over here yesterday, he pointed out this crepe myrtle as the one that the cluster had been in the previous day or a couple of days ago. So I'm anxious. Greg hadn't come outside yet. I'm anxious to confirm that, because if it is, then 2 swarms have landed in this exact crepe myrtle tree. There's a row here of 6 or 7. How cool is that? All right, well, here goes nothing. I talked to my new friend, Randy, 628 Dirt Rooster, and I asked him what would he do. I got bees flying around Epstein, going in the box, checking it out, and I got a cluster of bees on a branch. And my question was going to be, should I leave Epstein hanging there and watch and see if the swarm's going to move in, or should I take Epstein down and go capture the colony, the cluster in it? Well, this is where experience comes in. He said, why not both? He said, leave Epstein hanging in that tree and get you a 5-gallon bucket and go shake that cluster off in it. So my friend Greg here is good. He said you got to have somebody to man the camera when you go running around the yard screaming that the bees are attacking you. We're gonna hope that ain't what's gonna happen, but we finna find out. There's the first time for everything, folks, and here goes the first time. So we're going to see whether Greg's prophecy was correct, if he's going to have to keep up with me streaking across the yard screaming and shouting. I don't think so, because bees are in their least aggressive state when they're in the state that they're in right now, clustering. And so the idea here is I'm just going to shake this limb. I'm going to hold the bucket up under it, shake the limb, and the majority of those bees are going to fall down in it, ideally including the queen. So the hope is it ain't going to make them mad enough to turn their aggression on me. So here we go. Here goes nothing. Hey, oh.
I'm taking the queen did not go in there.
Maybe not. We'll let them cool down for a minute. Well, you know how we say here at Alderman Farms, where life on the farm just got real? That was real. Yeah, real stupid. Yeah, I just watched that clip, and I especially liked the part when I said that bees are at their least aggressive when they're in this state. Yeah, well, that's before you walk up and shake the fire out of them and they all fall over everywhere and get mad. And I got hit 3 times. I got stung on the wrist, stung on my cheek. One of them crawled up my short pants and stung me on my thigh. And so because I didn't shake it good enough, I ain't never done that before. And what I should have done is cut the limb off. Greg said, "Why didn't you ask me?" I said, "Well, I don't know," but could have cut the limb off and gently set it down in the bucket there. And anyway, I didn't. So what I did do was a half-hearted effort at shaking them off of there. I mean, I see people on YouTube do it all the time. I'm looking at you, Randy. Well, it didn't work. I did shake a bunch of them off, but the queen, a little cluster remained on that limb. And so then those bees got super protective and they run me all over that yard. And I didn't have a smoker. I just went off half cocked. So I told Greg, I said, "You mind if I run back to the house right quick?" So I'm coming home. I'm gonna get my suit and my smoker. And I don't know if I need the smoker, but I need the suit. Have mercy. Mercy. Welcome to Alderman Farms, lesson 1, what not to do. And it'll be a while before I do that again. But anyway, it's all in good fun, I reckon. And maybe those 3 bee stings will help me with my arthritis. I wish one of them had stung me on one particular knuckle, but it didn't. Alright, so I'm going to go home and get back just in time to... I may have to wait till this evening because I don't think I'm going to have enough lunch break time to get home, get my stuff, and get back out there. So whenever, I'll be back. Alrighty then. Let's try this again, shall we? Well, I'll be dog. Greg called me while I was at home gathering up my stuff to come back and told me that the cluster was no longer on the limb. It looked like they'd all moved into the bucket. Man, go figure. So they're all in the bucket. So let me get my camera set up and we'll see if I can't get that t-shirt over them and get them sealed up to take them home. Well, I didn't see the queen. I've got most of these bees, and let's just pray that the queen is in there. I reckon we'll find out, won't we? Do I put them in the truck with me, or do I put them in the back? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put them in the back. Well, I got them home in the 5-gallon buckets right down here, and so I've already got the top off the hive. I've got a few of the frames removed, and now you're going to get to witness me dumping these bees into this hive. At least I'm protected. So here we go, for your entertainment at least.
That t-shirt was slap full of bees. And when all of them were gone from the outside, I could tell that the t-shirt still weighed a lot. And so I laid it up on top and unfolded it, and the inside of the t-shirt was slap full of bees. And it was a creepy feeling because I thought, at least I'm not wearing this t-shirt. They were all up in the t-shirt. I finally decided to put the t-shirt inside the hive, and I'll remove it later, but that'll give all the bees an opportunity that were still in that t-shirt an opportunity to get out of it and become part of the colony. Well, at least I hope that's what happens.
You can hear me or not. I talked to Randy, 628 Dirt Rooster, and he advised me, even though we got a lot of pollen, a lot of nectar, lots of flowers in bloom here at AldermanFarms, he recommended giving them some sugar water to allow them to adjust to this move. And so I've opened up this entrance on this end over here to let them get accustomed to that. And Randy said I need to plug them up in there for a couple of days to let them, I guess it's kind of like when you put chickens in a new coop, you lock them up in there for a week to let them get acclimated to it. So I am pleased to see a lot of the bees are staying inside. So I'm hoping that means that they're going to call this home. Also hope it means that the queen is in there. All right, so there's a bunch of bees congregating on the purple LSU. Be funny here in a minute, they're going to spell out LSU. But I'm also happy to see that there are bees going in the entrance and coming out of the entrance. So those bees around the LSU thing, I don't know. We'll have to ask, or I'll tell you what, I'm asking you. Let me know in the comments. Are they just orienting themselves? I know it's, they're on the surface, but that could be what they're doing. They could be familiarizing themselves with what their new home looks like. And again, it's a good sign that bees are going in the entrance. Of course, now that I pushed record again, they're going to stop doing what I saw happening. But there was a line of bees walking on the face of the hive from the purple LSU to the entrance of the hive, which was also very encouraging. That makes me feel like for certain the queen is in there. Well, for sure. Look, there goes a line of them. Look. Well, got some stragglers, but yep. Good. So they are finished doing whatever they're doing. Those were anyway. And I think what they're doing is just orienting themselves. I don't know. I know they do orientation flights, and there are some out in front of the hive kind of doing figure eights that would be the orientation flights. But there's steadily a number of bees, not steadily, but 2 or 3 times now I've seen a line of bees head down from the purple S, the big wooden purple S, heading down to the entrance. And so and there's a lot of bees congregated at the entrance, and it looks like less and less flying around outside. So yay. So I think what we'll do is come back later closer to dark and check them out again. Well, here we are. It's well after dark. Stars in the sky, and the bees have all gone inside. We came out here a little bit before dark because I'm gonna plug them up. Randy over at 628 Dirt Rooster Bees told me to plug them up in there for a couple of days. I've got them a baby quail feeding jar with a 1-to-1 mixture of sugar and water. I don't want to get in the habit of feeding them, but we're going to keep them locked up in there for a couple of days. Like I said before, I guess like chickens, when you put them in a new coop. And if you're wondering about the lighting right now, I've got my headlamp on with my red light on because white light might bring them out of there, or so I'm told, so I've heard. Let me, I'm kind of far away. Let me turn that's blue. That's off. You don't change your channel. There we go. And there's a bee right there checking the entrance. There's another one. So I'm going to turn that white light off again because they might be getting aggravated. He started coming toward that white light. So anyway, I'm gonna call this a success, at least so far. Well, take one was a disaster. Take two was a success, and I got bees in the hive, and Epstein is still over at my friend's Greg's house. Maybe catch us another swarm. So I'm gonna let this bee make its way back inside, and then I'm gonna plug up that entrance, and we'll check back in a couple of days. Hey, I appreciate you watching. If you appreciate watching me get stung on video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to keep track of our brand new bee adventures. Give me Go Tigers in the comments. How about that? Jump on over to 628 Dirt Roosters YouTube channel and learn from somebody who knows what they're doing too. Goodbye.